Forward to this computer. All right. It's so good to see you guys. Welcome. So for those of you that have been a part of my readings before, you know how this works. I like to just kind of go around the room, give everybody as much, give some time to be able to tap in to what I'm kind of sensing and feeling for your business. But what can work even better is if you bring forward like a specific question. Maybe it's around marketing, maybe it's around sales or client attraction. The more specific that you can get with me around what you want me to tap into, of course, more ideas can flow, more creativity, more energy. So if you can take a couple minutes to maybe write down for yourself here an intention that you have or something that you would just love some clarity on, now is the time to do that before we kind of get started. And while you're doing that, I will just also say, as people are receiving their insights, their business reading, you will absolutely take away something from that also. I have rarely ever held a session where participants weren't like, oh, when you were talking about this for so and so, I got this idea on how to do this for myself. Or, it's everybody that's in this space is most likely spiritual entrepreneur or at least a spiritual woman in business, even if you don't have a spiritual business. And so my intention here, hi, for those of you that are coming in, my intention here is to be able to tap in, bring forward some clarity, guidance, inspiration, wisdom for wherever you may be feeling stuck or just need a little bit of extra psychic insight. So I did have Dawn, I think it might have been you. Did you reach out and say you were wondering? Yes, could you go first because you had to leave early? Okay, go ahead and unmute yourself. And if you want to just share with us what kind of business you have and your question, I would love to be able to tap in.
Okay. I am a psychic medium. I'm able
Okay.
to speak with the living and the dead and multiples at the same time,
Okay.
multiple entities. I'm also an animal intuitive and a death doula.
Okay. And how long have you been in business?
About a year.
Oh, okay. So fairly new.
Hmm.
How long have you been gifted?
I think longer than I ever anticipated. What finding out that I was gifted was a real surprise. I guess I always thought I had good intuition, but I didn't realize what it was. And then it
Sure.
just came full force one day. And so
Yep.
I looked into it, and sure enough, so.
I think sometimes, the way that I always describe intuition is everybody has it. And it's more of just a nudge. It's more of a feeling, right? Like, I think I'm going to turn right today instead of turning left.
Mhm.
Or you just kind of get a general sense or feeling or sensation at some place in your body. Some people feel it in their stomachs, like that, we gut feeling. Not everybody has that. Um, some people feel it in their heart, chest, but
Mhm.
intuition, in my experience and in my opinion, I call it my intuition, is really a feeling. Being psychic, and this is where a lot of people I don't think realize that they are, is when your clair senses start to come alive. That's going to be claircognizant, clairaudience, clairvoyance. Those clair senses are what differentiate intuition and psychic and the psychic senses. Um, and I also like to reference it being a spectrum, like just like singing is a spectrum. Let's use singing as a spectrum, right? Like not everybody sounds like, Beyonce, right? Some of us are more on this end of the spectrum. And the psychic spectrum is no different. Some of us are very gifted, talented, and farther down on the spectrum, and other people are kind of here. And but what I do believe, and I don't think everybody can become a Beyonce, right? Like that voice. I do believe everybody can move themselves on the spectrum, on the psychic spectrum, much easier,
Mhm.
especially less surrender, more open. Um, but I I see so many people that chalk up, oh, I'm hearing this, or I'm knowing this and they're chalking it up to intuition, and that's not their intuition. It's that they're psychic. So anyway, just
Yes.
my little spiel that I like to go on with it.
Um,
Um,
the
so
question I had was about
yeah,
client attraction.
okay.
I'm not really sure how to do that better.
So a couple things. Number one, it is absolutely okay to have multiple services that you offer. Um, for example, I have a mastermind, a group program, private coaching, courses, all the things, right? So those that is totally um that is totally good. What you don't want to do from a promotion, marketing, client attraction perspective is talk about all the things all the time at the same time.
Hmm.
And so the first thing that I feel like is talking about your different services at different times and maybe like 2 week periods. So, for example, if you want to, and this is where I think it's important to be able to know yourself and trust yourself and ask yourself, what do I feel most called to serve in at this time? And there might be times that you're just feeling more like, I just really want to do more psychic mediumship sessions. There might be times that you want to do more animal communication. There might be times that the death doula comes forward, right? And that's where during those periods, you're just talking about that one service, how you serve, who you serve, what's included in a service, what have past maybe clients said about you, sharing testimonials, um, and being very open to giving your gift freely, especially from a social media perspective. The more you're going to manifest more when it comes from a place of giving. It's man, I think a lot of times we think manifesting and manifesting clients, success, any of that is just it's such a take. What do I want? What do I want? But when you flip the script on that and you come from a place of giving, you're going to receive so much more back. So can you go live and do on the spot mini readings for people in Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, something like that, where people can learn about you, see you in your gift, and then want to take the next step in working with you? Are there groups that you are a part of that you could be a guest expert in and showcase those gifts and those talents? Are there local community events that, again, you can really, really stand out in some of those expos? When I first started, I did one expo, and every single reader that was at that expo charged at their table for a reading. Every single one of them. And they were charging very minimal amounts. I remember like maybe like 20 to $40 for like, 20 minutes. And, they have, because that's just the way that they had done it forever. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to do this differently. I'm going to do all of these, I'm going to do my readings for free. So I paid to be at the expo and I did all of those readings for free for, I think it was like 2 days. And I think it was at least, at least 15 or 20 readings a day. Best decision I could have ever made. I didn't make any money on the spot, but people being a part of that gift wanted to then purchase a longer term 1 hour session. Some people bought longer packages with me. I made thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars long term clients from not just getting a quick hit, not just getting a quick, 20 bucks for a 15-minute session. So sometimes you have to almost like reverse engineer what you see other people around you doing as well.
Okay.
Um, with just starting your business, if I could go back in time and tell myself or anybody just starting their business, the number one thing to focus on for me personally, I would recommend email marketing. I would recommend building an audience of people that have chosen to subscribe to hear from you. Hands down, it is the number one way I am able to build a relationship. And that's all that marketing is relationship building. And through my email, I am absolutely 100% in control of when that email goes out, what the message is, whether it's censored or not. Like, I don't have to worry about any of those things that you have to about in social media. I don't have to worry about Meta or TikTok shutting down, or I don't ever have to worry about any of those things. I could care less if any of those things happen. I was sad about TikTok. I do love TikTok, but more from a selfish consumer perspective, right? So if you are not doing that, I would absolutely start doing that aspect. It's so important to building relationships with your clients on an ongoing basis. So I know I kind of said a lot there. What kind of stands out to you the most?
The email marketing sounds interesting. The freebies I'm already doing, I have a special this month. The first 15 minutes are free. I've been working out of a crystal store on the weekends, and I usually, um, have a couple readings, but they go much longer than an hour. And
Mm-hmm.
I sort of don't charge after an hour because it means that something's going on, that it's more important to keep the conversation going than it is to worry about how much time we're spending. And I've had
So
two
one
re
thing I would just say though is if you are aware that most of your sessions are going longer, A, that's a lot of information to give somebody in one setting. It's a lot
Yeah.
to embody. It's a lot to take in, especially if you're covering a lot of different areas of life, areas of, their career, relationship, love, all of those things, right? It's a lot for them, even if it's recorded, even if they're taking notes. In my experience, after doing thousands of readings for over 10 years, it is a lot. And it is one of the core reasons why I started doing more psychic life and business coaching versus always just it being a reading. Now, what you might want to think about doing is either A, just coming to a point of completion at your hour and saying, I am sure you can see how much value is here, how much insight, how much wisdom, how much the universe wants to connect with you. This was just an hour. Imagine if we had a series of sessions together, what could come forward for you, right? So then that puts you in a position where you can maybe have them invest in multiple sessions with you. So you're not just doing those one hit readings, which can be exhausting, depleting, and draining as a reader.
Okay, perfect.
And if you're going to go longer, if you know it's naturally going to go 75 minutes, you don't want to offer additional sessions afterwards, you don't want to do the hard stop, raise your rate to match what it would be for a 75-minute session, even though you're selling them a 60-minute session, knowing that that buffer is in there for you. And it's going to feel like to them kind of like a surprise and delight. So I wouldn't change your reading to a 75-minute reading. I would keep it at a 60-minute reading, but increase the rate. So then you're going over and they feel like they're getting something so much more.
Okay, sounds good.
Any other questions?
No, no, I'm
Nice to meet
good. Thank
you.
you. This is a lot of information. Thank
It
you.
is. I could go on and on forever about being be obviously I get it. It's I'm very passionate about it. So
Yes.
all right, let's see. If you want to come into the hot seat, definitely raise like your little digital Zoom hand. Otherwise, Brian, I'm kind of drawn to you. I'm gonna just call on you first while other people are figuring out. Oh, I do that too.
Sorry, my voice is a little bit lost, and I was also looking for the hand to raise, so thanks for picking me. Um, so hopefully you can answer this question. If you can't, I can reframe it. But um, I have been in marketing my whole career, and a few years ago, I started a copywriting brand voice strategy business. But I'm not feeling totally aligned with it. I feel like, I mean, lately the word I've been using is stuck, which is not usually a thing I say. Like I follow my enthusiasm and I like for some reason can't find it in this business, which felt very aligned when I first started it. And I'm not sure, what direction I'm supposed to go. Should I be trying to go back into corporate, which completely burnt
Mhm.
me out at one point, which yeah, I don't really want to
Yeah,
do,
but
but it's not really very lucrative right now to be where I am. And I think some of it is because I'm not very inspired by it, but it also feels very difficult to find those like perfectly aligned clients. So yeah, basically, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing with my career right now and or in what direction to be looking. I'm looking in like a million different directions. So if you have any advice or insights there,
I have an
that would be
odd
great.
question.
Yes.
What does your birthday have to do with this? Number
What does my
one.
birthday have to do with this? So my birthday is April 11th, 1988. I just looked into a lot of like birth chart, human design things about what I'm supposed to be, doing. And a
Okay.
lot of it did say branding and media and communication and things like that, but also maybe something to do with, the unseen and more mystical things. I just moved to Salem, Massachusetts, so it's very much around me. But yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
what else it has to do.
Okay. Okay. So a couple different things. I did you go to school? What did you go to school for?
Marketing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so you went to school for this, and it feels like it has just like served you as long as it needed to. Um, it's I wouldn't even say that it's like not that it's not aligned anymore because um for something to true I get sometimes annoyed with like some of these like when words become a buzzword, right? And when for something to not truly be in alignment for you, it really would have to be like a hard no, like go against your values, like just
Hmm.
right. And that's not what marketing, messaging, any of those things are, right? What you
Hmm.
are feeling is actually resistance. And there's a difference
Mm.
between see even how you just responded and reacted to that, that tells me that that's right. So what you're feeling is resistance. And the resistance is coming from you no longer enjoy it. That
Yeah,
doesn't mean it's not aligned. Like
that's
again,
fair.
alignment,
Okay.
right? But everybody uses that word.
Yeah.
I'm doing my best to eliminate it from my copy as much as I freaking can because that is that's what's true. It's also not a coincidence. I asked you about your birthday, and where you led me was I have been curious about astrology, human design. Those are the things that you, this is the progression, right? Those are the things you have
Mm.
questions about. And when you have a question about something, it can turn into a curiosity once you start exploring those questions.
Hmm.
And then that curiosity can also then turn into your next calling. And I feel like
Okay.
that's what you're in the midst of, right? Not a
Hmm.
coincidence that you're in like one of the most spiritual vortexes probably in the United States. Like that's probably stirring up a lot that you're maybe not even aware of. And this is actually newer for me. And I'll see how you respond when I say this. I would even go as far as to say I've only recently started getting information like this, but I feel like there's some draw to that area, even maybe because of the past life situation.
Mm.
And I, I don't know. That's not something I get for everybody, but in this particular case with where you are, do you have a sister?
Yeah, I have two.
Um, Even like something like with your, like something with one of your sisters or both, like is one maybe more, are you closer with one than the other?
Maybe. Yeah, a little bit.
Is one maybe more open-minded than the other or
One is like probably she was interested, she's older and she was interested in astrology, and so that's
Mhm.
probably why I got into it a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, kind of more aligned with this. Okay. Anyway, long story short, I feel like what is happening is you again, the buzzword is awakening, right? You're not awakening, you're remembering. That's
Mm,
all.
mhm,
And there's even again, like the way you responded, the um you're remembering.
mhm,
And so now the question becomes, how do you find creative inspiration in the current business model that you have while uncovering your next calling, right?
mhm.
What kinds of business what kinds of businesses do you work with now? Are
I
they more
try to work
mainstream,
with
traditional?
I try to work with wellness, lifestyle businesses. Usually I'm trying to work with mostly women this year. I'm very tired of having older men talk to me like a child. Um, but that's easier said than done. But yeah, usually they're in some kind of startup mode or pretty new businesses, smaller.
Yeah. I would suggest seeing what you feel in your body. You're very connected to your body. I don't know, do you work out a lot? Are you like pretty health conscious or clean, eat
I'm
clean? Like,
I'm pretty health conscious. I try to work out. I used to be more athletic, but I definitely, I feel my emotions in my body before my mind does. So yeah.
okay. Okay. So, and what was your human design? Are you a manifesting generator?
I'm a generator.
Okay.
It's another thing.
Um, okay. So I feel like your body is always communicating with you. That's going to tell you your yes and your no on
Hmm.
almost any decision. So if you don't know what that is for yourself, we got to get you to really kind of know, like know your no, right?
Hmm.
So that would be the first thing. And then the second thing is how can you host um, some type of training? I see you more in like a training role, a coaching role,
Hmm.
facilitating a group that is more geared towards the intuitive businesses, the astrologers, the human design, um, and how you can help them in a group container with the things that all of them are stuck with from a marketing perspective, a copy perspective, um, almost like maybe it could even be like uh I don't want to say like just for that genre, just for those genre, but I think that's where you're going to be the happiest is in serving
Mm.
those genres.
Okay.
Um, I also think that finding your own signature way to use somebody's birth chart for their marketing strategy is really
Mm.
smart.
Interesting. Okay, so you
Um,
don't necessarily see me completely like going out of like the
not
marketing
immediate,
lane. Not immediately.
not
Okay.
immediate. I don't think it's that you don't, I think you got some very misaligned clients, which you did not enjoy working with. I
Hmm.
think you're actually really good at what you do.
Well, thank you.
I think you just need to find better clients. I think that you need to find clients that spark your interest, that you are just like, oh
Hmm.
my gosh, I want you to win.
Hmm.
Um, and I think you need to allow your creative ideas come forward a lot more than you do. I feel like you put a filter on those a lot of times and try to go with like technical, practical marketing instead of magical marketing. And I think the more that you kind of explore those things, better your business is going to do. You're going to attract people like crazy.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. It's super helpful and it feels really not aligned, but it feels very resonant with me.
Good. I mean, it is. I mean, I know what you're saying. Now you're going to be like, everybody's going to be hyper conscious of the word alive.
I know, but yeah, especially I'm a copywriter. I'm like, oh, okay, word like that. Mm-mm, okay, we can eliminate
Yeah.
that.
And to me, even like the other word for me is like intuitive. That's kind of why I started off with like saying to Don, like, It's probably be the next email I write. Like, you're not intuitive, you're psychic. Like, let's be honest. Like, I think way too many people are just have turned intuition and being intuitive into something that it's not. You
Mm,
know, it's
yeah.
it or some it um it's just been misused, I think, by people that are actually either a psychic or I don't know. But again, that's how I do my marketing. So
Love it. Thank you so much.
you're welcome. Who would like to go next? Go ahead. Unmute yourself, Carol.
First of all, let me say you look absolutely gorgeous today, and
Oh,
ivory
thank
should be
you.
your branding color, girlfriend.
And what
It's
should be?
your ivory should be one of your key
Oh,
branding colors.
thank you.
Because even that ivory dress that you have on some of your photo shots, it's like it just calls out your energy. I don't know. To
Thank
me, I just think
you.
you look absolutely gorgeous today.
I don't know why, but anytime I try to wear white, ivory, that kind of color whenever I do any channeling. I have no idea why. No, no, like it doesn't make me channel any better. And like, when I see spirit come into the room, it's like this burst of white light. So I think, I don't know, that's
Yeah.
that's why I chose the
It's
color. But
it's
thank
you
you.
for, my 2 cents.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you.
for sure. Is there anything weird going on? Like I can't sleep.
For
Like,
everybody.
oh my
I,
gosh,
I
it's
would,
been
how many
like
other people are not sleeping? Myself
it's
included.
like 4 in the morning. I'm still wide awake. I'm still waking up at 6 or 7. I just had one where I slept until like 11, which I haven't done in probably 20 years. But I don't know. I didn't know if something was going on or going on for
A
me.
lot,
I don't know, whatever you're picking up on that,
I mean, I think from an astrological perspective, which I'm not big into astrology, um, but the few things that I do pay attention to are um like the bigger, like we just had like so many different planets in retrograde, and we're about to go into another Mercury retrograde. But one of the bigger ones was Mars moved out of retrograde and went direct. And when that happened, oh my gosh, like I have just my sleep has been so out of whack for the last couple days. Waking up and the constant running of this idea, this idea, this idea. So that tells me that things are, just kind of moving in that direction. Anytime you are spiritually sensitive, um, open, you're going to be you're going to have you're it's going to disrupt your sleep, you know um I think it's important to track. I think it's important to pay attention. I don't think you have to know what's going on astrologically.
yeah.
Like I pay attention to some of the bigger ones, um but it's usually in retrospect where I'm like, gosh, why am I feeling like this? And then I'll be like, oh, well, that makes sense. I usually go backwards. I do also think that if you are in a period of maybe feeling more stress than you have like, have you been feeling more stress like than normal? Yeah. I was gonna say, I also feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that in your body as well. It feels like an increase, like cortisol, probably, and if your cortisol goes up, then your sleep goes down, your physical pains might show up easier. Um, all of the above, right? And again, I'm not a doctor, but kind of in that perspective. Um, I would say, are you taking a sleep supplement now? What are you taking?
My chiropractor gave me it's called MyoCalm. So it's not a melatonin, but it is to help relax out a little
Does it
bit.
have melatonin in it?
I don't know. I'd have to go look.
I don't know that did he muscle test it for you? Probably
No,
not.
I think that's kind of his standard thing.
Yeah. I don't know that it's actually what you need. I
Yeah.
feel like actually melatonin probably has an opposite effect for you.
Hmm.
I would say, can you do magnesium?
Little bit. Yeah. Yeah, I can do some.
I, I would increase that a lot. And
Okay.
I bet you start feeling some relief. Also, I feel like do you currently have like a white noise machine or a fan or something like that?
Yeah.
Um, I would maybe, I would, I feel like either if you have both, great. If you don't, add one or the other, whatever
Either.
one it
Okay.
was.
Okay. Yeah, and I started doing some sleep tracking and stuff too, but I do think it's cortisol. I think part of it is like with the stuck resistance conversation. I feel like I'm playing beat the clock, just from a timing
Mm.
standpoint. Like there's so much I want to do, and yeah, I'm probably in my head a little bit too much too, with age and what am I going to get done and what am I not going to get done? And so it's like there's a lot of opportunity, but it's feeling like if I don't get this done right away, blah, blah, blah. So it could be a little amped up from that.
You might have heard me talk about this before, but one of the best insights I think that the universe has ever given me was the number 86,400, which is how many seconds there are in a day. And I get like total truth bumps every time I like really think about this concept. Every single person here and that you could meet or talk to could agree with you that all it takes is 1 second to change your life.
Right.
That's it, just one. So you have plenty of time, plenty of time,
Mhm.
plenty of time to create today, this week, this month, this quarter, this year, this lifetime. Plenty of time. I think if you are not taking daily action from your intentions and your goals, that to me feels like maybe where some shifting of activities and action could happen.
I appreciate that.
That, yeah, that one thing.
Okay. Yeah, it's been so bad. I've even had a hard time even walking up and down the stairs just from pain. I think it is the cortisol level.
It's probably a combination.
Yeah. It
Um,
comes and goes. So it's not like it's not,
right.
fibromyalgia. It's not this. It's like, no.
No, this is not an autoimmune disease.
Mm-mm.
Absolutely not.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Who is next? Oh, wait, I want to see what some of these. Hi, Mary, come forward.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Uh, so my name is Mary, and I'm a psychic and a medium, hypnotherapist, past life regression specialist, Akashic Records, energy healing. I'm old enough to have a lot of tools, right? So,
Yeah.
a few years ago, I remember I was just asking Spirit, who am I really? Like, like, who am I? What is it I offer? And it was really interesting. They told me I'm a faith healer, that I heal people's faith in themselves.
Hmm.
And I was just so struck by that. And I'm like, well, when am I going to heal my faith in myself? Right. But I don't know. Like, I always have trouble introducing myself. Um, I always have trouble introducing myself, whether it's for marketing whether I'm teaching a class, doing a group, whatever it is. And I don't know if there is something you could pull from spirit that would help me with that process. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yep. Okay. So the first thing is, it doesn't feel to me like it is about you doing the public speaking, right? Like that doesn't bother you. That's not the hard part. It's
Mm-mm.
the public speaking.
No.
It's knowing what to say about who you are. And I
Mhm.
think some of that ties to you even having that very question a few years ago with the universe, right? With your guides.
Right.
Um, in my opinion, if I were you, I would just own I am a psychic medium. Don't get into Akashic, like all of those other things, right?
Mhm.
When you are in a session with one of your clients of and you access those different gifts for them, that's one thing. But I think sometimes when you try to over explain what you do, keep your marketing and your introduction of yourself as simple and as clear as possible. People understand what a psychic medium is. Everybody pretty much, even if they don't know what you do, they understand that title, that description, right?
Okay. Yeah.
When you start to get into all the other stuff, like that can mean people don't know, so then they can start making us up. Like it can just get very diluted and very washed away from at the core of the work that you do. As a psychic medium, all of those other gifts unlock inside of a session with you, just like with me, right? Like I don't necessarily say I access the Akashic records, but damn well straight I do. I don't necessarily always say like, um, you know, I'm gonna be doing some healing here, or let who you are serving experience all of those gifts, because I promise you, they will tell others. They will tell others. Just make your introduction clean and easy for people to understand what they can buy, almost like what they can buy from you and how they can work with you. Um, I'll never forget. I was like scrolling through, I was looking at this woman's Instagram, and I was kind of like intrigued by some of her marketing. And I was like, oh, maybe I want to like work with what. So I go to read her bio, and her bio was like creatrix, matrix, accessor of conscious. Like, I was like, what I don't even, it was so confusing to me. I had no idea what she was saying, why she was trying to, it was incredibly confusing. At the end of the day, she's a life coach. That's it. Right. And I think that the online, and I think it was Brianne that does the online marketing. She would probably agree with me on this. It has become so noisy out there with clever titles and all of like, it is ridiculous. All of the buzzwords and it really is, to the point where people, yeah, so much noise. Make it very, I'm a business psychic. I'm a life and business psychic medium. I make it so easy for people to be like, oh, that, I want to learn more about that. When you serve from that place, I promise you, they'll refer you, they'll experience you, and that will do the selling and the introduction for you.
So you list yourself as a psychic business medium. I mean, a business psychic medium. Like that's pretty clear. That's
Yes.
very clear.
Yep.
And I just you're don't know how to pick a word that goes with that, even though I do a lot of transformation work and transition from one part of life to another part of life. That's
I would say that that then goes like um if you're at the front of a room introducing yourself, there would be a way that you say, I'm I'm Mary O'Malley and I'm a psychic medium. I specialize in helping people blank, right?
okay.
In getting to the truth of who they are by uncovering their past and current life areas that are keeping them in a space of struggle instead of success. Like something to that effect, right? That's
Okay.
very simple again but that's in the explanation. That's not in the headline. And it feels to me like you're trying to kind of put everything up in the headline versus
hmm
in the bullet points underneath.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
The the headline is Mary O'Malley, psychic medium. The bullet points
Gotcha.
are I support my clients with transformational therapy to unlock their next level self. Uh,
hmm
Again, kind of like insert whatever you would want to insert there, Mary. And depending on your audience, that might tweak and shift a little bit. So again, like it might be worded a little bit differently in your Facebook bio because you're not at the front of the room of a bunch of realtors, right? Or
Right.
so depending on your scenario, those words, those bullet points might shift and change and expand a little bit, but your headline should not. Who you
Okay.
are should not.
It's a psychic
That,
medium.
yeah. Now
That's
you could
really
go with
helpful.
Akashic record reader, right? Like I don't think you have to go with psychic medium. I think you could pick the other ones. I think we are at a place where most people recognize psychic medium. We're still not a place where people get what Akashic record readers are, or even sometimes
Right.
energy healers, or I think hypnotherapy is becoming more common. So, but again, I would really think of those as like bullet points, subtitles in your copy, in your social media posts. Like that's where you want to talk about that, but your headliner is what I haven't changed it in 10 years. The whole time I've been in business, I've been a life and business psychic medium or the business psychic. Those are like the two things. So I just
Okay.
stand true to like where my gift, I stand grounded in my gift on that.
Thank you. That helped immensely. Thank you.
Good. You're welcome. Victoria. We can't hear you.
I just wanted to say hi. I agree with
Hi.
Carrie. Like, amazing. That color is awesome.
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
remember, Erin, we got to remember that.
You're always, yeah, beautiful. Anyway, I wanted to tell you I'm celebrating day 50 without my big fives so my original 5-day detox
Wow.
has now turned into a transformation for me.
Oh, I'm sure.
Now my brain is hooked on hot aloe and lemon water in the morning. So the brain really doesn't care. So yeah, without caffeine, I didn't think I could do it. But anyway, so I'm just excited now to share my transformation with others. So I've got my third detox lined up for March 10th through the 14th. So trying to keep it really simple because I can get really, my ADD mind can get me off tangent. So I'm trying to keep it small. Like yesterday I was thinking, well, maybe I got some guys that are interested. Maybe I could just do it like, no, co-ed. No, I'm just going to be just sticking with one thing and just really getting good at it and then see where that goes. But
Yeah, and I think as I probably definitely identify as ADHD, absolutely. And that can be the best and worst part of that is all of the ideas, right? And wanting to run with all of the ideas in the moment you get the idea. I have suffered from that multiple times, and my business has suffered from that multiple times. I strongly would suggest with running a program, because what can happen is our ADHD mind can get bored with running the same thing. Like, I don't know that I've ever been able to pull my shit together enough to like run something more than once, other than like I host these group business readings on a pretty frequent basis, right? But otherwise, like programs, packages, master classes, like they've all been different. But the promotion of them has always been consistent and the same. I kind of always have like a promotional strategy to support whatever it is that I'm selling. And it feels to me like that's maybe what is missing here. I think you know your content. I think you know your company and your recommendations and like you believe in that part of it. What feels to me like is missing is the more of a strategic marketing side of it. You know, the emails that need to go out, social media that needs to go out.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the things though that are going to bring in the people to make it worthwhile for you, you know? Um, so that's what I wouldn't change what you're promoting. I would change the way that you've been promoting it. It feels like more grounding, more structure, and more consistency in those aspects to bring people to your event. That for me is what's missing. Does that
Yeah,
kind of match?
absolutely.
Do
And
you get
sharing testimony. Like I've
with
lost
what?
and sharing my personal journey with it. I've lost 8 pounds without even like starving, without even really just cutting out these things. I've lost
So
8 pounds.
so then where are you so then taking that and turning that into promotional content,
Right.
right? And I differentiate. Like to me, there's a difference between promotion and marketing. I'm always marketing, which to me is I'm always relationship building. So I'm sending newsletters, putting stuff randomly in social media, um, running Facebook ads. Like that to me is just that ongoing marketing and advertising. But if I have an event coming up, then I have a promotional period. And that is a very different intensity in what I'm creating and what I'm putting out. That needs to be tweaked and refined for you.
Absolutely. Good. So once I get that, then it's kind of like wash, rinse, repeat.
Yeah, I would say evaluate, rinse, repeat.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome. Let's see. Chelsea, come forward.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I feel like we've connected before, right?
Yes, I think we had like maybe a 30-minute intro call a long time ago, maybe last year.
Got it. I was like, like you look familiar. I was like, she looks familiar. So I just couldn't remember from where I do. So
Mm.
nice to see you again. What can I tap into for you?
I'm not really sure. So I think my guides just brought me here. And they said don't have expectations about what you're gonna get because you're gonna get something. And it was at the time, I guess like last week or something, I was struggling with coming up with the business name. And then all of a sudden it popped into my head after months of like doing all of this research and going back and forth and asking AI. It just like popped into my head. And then I looked on the internet and the name is available, super easy to spell, all of those things. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, what am I going to get there? Not the name. So I don't really know. I'm
Got
not
it.
sure.
So can you remind me like what kind of business do you have or what
So I'm a psychotherapist, in the traditional sense, kind of, but my work is evolving to look very different from traditional psychotherapy, like treatment
Mm,
of disease in the brain and blah, blah, blah. Like what's been happening is more transformation. So, I mean,
yeah.
I do have a coaching certification, but I don't think that there is a name for what it is that I'm doing, but basically just like people come to me. And I know from like a human perspective, mental health stuff, like I know all of the reasons why what's going on with them is going on and what the difficulties are. And now I'm just starting to like channel what they need to hear for their light to turn on. And so then what's happening is I'm starting to work with their families. They're like, oh my God, we need to bring people to you. Like, let's do this, let's do that. So like it's just expanding. I'm
So
not really
generational work.
yeah, I mean, I didn't think that I got, I've done some family work, but now it's starting to look like I'm evolving into a lot of family work. Like, you get a person and then they're like, hey, can you help me with my relationship with my sibling? And then they both say, hey, can you help me with my relationship with my partner and kids? And then I'm
Yeah.
doing all of these different things. I don't know. I mean, there's probably not a word for it. I'm probably going to want to write about it, but I also want to teach about it. Yeah. So also ADHD for everybody. Hey y'all. Hey everybody. And it's getting worse. The more tapped in I am to this like the stuff that's flowing through me, the less I'm able to like I don't even have access to emotions that get me places on time. Like, like shame or I don't have access to that.
Yeah.
Scheduling, all of this other stuff. I can't it's like my ADHD is getting worse and worse over time and it's not going to get better. So I've been doing all of these like money manifestation stuff, right? I manifested an assistant.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. But now I'm like, oh my God, I'm a mother for the first time. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm scared. So I have to figure out like business structure stuff. That's where I am. Like, okay, moving from a blah 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 to an S corp, and like I don't have a website, and I have to set my employee up and make sure that I have funds to pay him and pay off debt over here and try to get funding over there. So that's where I am.
Are you taking private pay clients only or insurance?
I'm ending with insurance and going strictly private pay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, that definitely feels like a better, more like just from a financial perspective, I think that that's a good move. My second question is when you're talking about wanting to teach, I see two different things. I see number one, like a group style experience.
Mhm.
And that feels though to me more like individuals, clients.
Mm.
And if you're not doing, I think if you're doing private pay, I'm trying to think, I have a psychotherapist right now. If
Okay,
Taylor
so
has, if you do,
I,
sometimes I know she has to be careful of HIPAA and other times not in a group thing. But I think if you don't do private pay, or if you do private pay, I don't think you have to worry about that as much or something from a group perspective. I could be
uh,
wrong, but
sure. I mean, I think I might be moving away from even calling myself a psychotherapist and just saying I offer services because what's happening in
yeah,
my service is not strict psychotherapy, and I'm also
yeah,
not adhering to their guidelines. So I'm gonna probably need to find other words to call it
yeah.
to do the
That's
work.
good because, but the next part that so I see these like almost like two groups, right? Like group one is for clients. It's like a group client experience where maybe you're just not like
Yes.
going through a variety of different modalities with them, healings, transformations, calls, sessions, all the things. But the second group is teaching other existing, maybe psychotherapists, other
Yes. Yeah,
some of
exactly.
your unique to you modalities.
Yes.
And that
Hmm.
you knowing your proprietary system, your signature framework, that is going to be key and crucial to that. But I see that kind of unfolding into teaching, training, mentoring that kind of group. So
Yes, you are spot on. I'm doing some crazy stuff in my sessions, and I'm like, okay, I didn't learn this in school. And why doesn't everyone know this? I want to make sure
Yes.
I'm not the only person on planet Earth that's doing this thing. And like other psychotherapy is super ineffective and frustrating. But if they just had these couple elements, or if they just showed up in this certain kind of way, like more authentically, or whatever words you want to use, their light needs to turn on, and then they can turn everyone else's light on. I want to make sure that there are more of me
Yeah.
exist, and I can teach it because I'm
Yeah.
good with words and blah blah blah. But okay, so proprietary system, 1,000,000%. Where do I find someone that can organize
Me.
what it is that I'm doing?
Me. That's what I do.
Yay! Hey.
It's
Mm.
like I like I've called it like the gifted framework. Like, yeah, absolutely. I'll send you a private message afterwards.
Excellent. That was it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome. Colleen, bringing us home, girl. Oh, you have to go. Wait a minute.
Yeah, I
Can
just
you
have a
stay
couple
for?
minutes. Sorry, that's okay.
Nope, that's okay.
Today was, I think, really super helpful. Um, the part about, I think it was with Mary, about just calling yourself one thing and letting all the rest of it kind of flow. That was really, really helpful. And what was the other thing that I wanted to talk about? I don't remember now, but I do have one really quick question.
Yeah, of
So,
course.
I've been doing a monthly Oracle card newsletter that goes out
Okay.
at the first of every month. But I've only been doing it in print. Do you see, would it be better if I did that in a video and then sent that? Like, how do you feel about newsletter videos? There's my question.
I think it's interesting that you're feeling that because I've been thinking about the same thing. Do I want to start uploading some video content? Because I think what I don't like about it is that it takes them away from my newsletter and then they have to go watch the video on YouTube unless you invest in an email system like Bonjoro or what's the other one I used for a while, where they actually embed the email in or the video into the email. Um, so that's the why I've been hesitant and resistant because of that is like my own reason, not maybe necessarily your reason, but I have been thinking about the same thing. So what I would trust is that idea is coming in to probably like some type of collective energy for a reason. Whether it's because people are just overreading and are going to respond better to a video. That's absolutely true. I believe that. In fact, I just said to Erin the other day, I was like, I think I'm going to start doing, after I'm done writing a newsletter, take that same concept and go do a live about it or go do a video about it. So I think, and again, like all marketing is an experiment. I think testing it, seeing if people respond. Um, I've also thought about doing audio clips. Um, I don't think it, I think I listen to audio books all the time. I listen to podcasts all the time. So from an audio perspective, there's does it always have to be doing a video and being camera ready, blah, 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 blah. No, no, I don't. I can just do the audio. Like sometimes it can just be that simple, you know? And that is my word for this year. I want things to be as simple as possible, and I want to be as consistent as possible. Um, so why I think it's more of like, why wouldn't you? And maybe try the audio also. You know, just like click here to listen to my message. Click here to hear the audio version. Click here to a channel to me channeling a message for you. Click here, something along those lines. Try that.
Awesome. Thank you. And I am doing a year ahead. oracle reading coming up in a couple of weeks. So
Love it. Yeah. I think I would say if the idea is there, act. You're going to learn. No matter what, you're going to learn from it. You're going to learn that people want it or people don't want it. And that doesn't mean it's wrong, right? It just means that maybe it just needs to be modified. Maybe it just needs to be tweaked. Maybe like I can't ever think of one idea that I've ever put out that maybe didn't go the way that I wanted it to go, but that I didn't learn from and grow from.
Right.
Ever. Not one. Like I've never had an idea that I was like, should have not done that. I mean, even I would say just recently, like I did it was called the Love and Light Club. Oh, I think you even joined it.
Yeah.
And I loved the sessions, but it was purely group readings around just psychic mediumship readings. There was no business in it. And I love mediumship and I love using that gift and but if business isn't like an aspect, like it just doesn't fuel my soul. Like I love business so much. I love the whatever. I could talk about it forever. And so I tried it for a couple months and guess what? It gave me I can't say that it flopped because I got so much clarity around something that I've been struggling with for a long time in my businesses. Do I go the path of just psychic mediumship or do I go the path of like continuing to be the business psychic? That made it very clear to me. It's gotta have business weaved in. So no matter what idea it is, even if it on paper looks like a flop, it's not. It is full of lessons.
Awesome. Thanks, Amber.
You're welcome. Good to see you. And thank you to everybody for being here. I appreciate you coming. I hope that you're taking away something that you can take and implement into your business. I'll send out a copy of this if you want to watch the replay. You're welcome. You're welcome to that. So you'll get a copy of that. And any follow-up questions, definitely hit reply to those emails. I personally reply to all of my emails. So looking forward to connecting with more of you more and go be in your gift.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. This was great.
Oh, thank you. Nice to meet you, Dawn.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
Bye.
you're welcome, Mary. Bye-bye. I'm gonna hit stop.